Welcome, everybody, back to another, yes, I know, another episode of the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and up there and on my top left is my illustrious co-host and good friend, Mr. Adam Cousins. Adam, I don't even know to ask how you are, mate. I see you pretty much every day, but you're all right.
Always okay.
Always good. And as everyone knows, recently we went to watch the great guys and girls at Ignite Wrestling Pro down in Boreham Wood, as Adam is sporting his Ignite t-shirt there. We couldn't talk all things Ignite, all things UK wrestling without the man that founded the great promotion that is Ignite Wrestling Pro. Mr. CJ Carter is joining us on today's show. CJ, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Just about recovered from Sunday, I think. Show days are pretty full on, and I was in the ring myself as well for a little bit. So
yeah, you were, mate. Let's before we get into the event that myself and Adam and you are putting on, Buckle Up later on in the year. Let's talk about Ignite and the event that was put on Sunday. The bitter end, it was billed as, and it was a great show. And like I've said to Adam a few times on podcast, in the UK, you're very much brought up on WWF and now WWE. And until you start to do things like this, and I've got to obviously know Adam over the years and now CJ, now you, I didn't really realize how big the UK, just UK wrestling alone was. And things like Ignite and Apex and Progress, etc., really opened my eyes. I have been so impressed from the Ignite shows that I've been to, just for the talent, the matches. You know, you hear you see some things going around social media, and they're in a little bingo hall in front of 20 people. There was over 100 people at Boreham Wood on Sunday. CJ, just talk to us what it's like for you as the guy that runs Ignite. What's it like putting on these shows? How satisfying is it to, when you hear feedback and when you see the great talent that you're attracting to your promotion, from where it started to where it is now, must be very satisfying for you.
Yeah. I mean, it is satisfying. It's incredibly stressful. I think any promoter out there who might be listening to this can relate. I think running shows can be one of the most stressful things going, especially when you potentially lose talent. 2 days before your show. Which happened this time. I hope Warren Banks is doing all right. I hope his health's okay. I hope he's recovering. But that's not uncommon. That kind of thing does happen. Injuries happen, illnesses happen. Sometimes there's other reasons, and that stuff can be incredibly stressful. One time I managed to lose my ring the night before the show, so I was ringing around every promoter in the country trying to find a ring for my show. So, those little things could be a bit stressful, but then, once you're there and you see how much the fans love the show, and, hopefully they do. And every show I put on, they seemed to have loved the show, and I've always had great feedback. Yeah, it's incredibly satisfying. And for me, it's about trying to give something back to my local community as well. There's wrestling fans, which is great and amazing, but there's also I'm just trying to give something back to that area, because there's not an awful lot that goes on there. Obviously, I was born and bred there. So, to see all the kids that come and enjoy it, and the wrestling fans in the local area who don't necessarily get out and see local wrestling, because a bit like what you said, they watch maybe WWE on TV or AEW, and they're not even aware really that all these other promotions kind of exist. So they come along, and it might be the first time they've seen a live show. And it is satisfying. And and to give a platform to like the guys and girls that you saw on Sunday, that's what Ignite's about, man. That's what it's about. Try and find that kind of unseen talent, or talent that's not quite getting the opportunities that maybe they should be, and put them there. And hopefully get eyeballs on them.
Yeah, Ads, have you been impressed with the way that the UK scene? I know you were tweeting out this morning on the HCT Buckle feed, the UK industry is booming right now. Obviously, we were so privileged to be at Ignite on Sunday, and we were there. CJ kindly let us conduct all the backstage interviews. All of that was in character. wouldn't know some of my mates that messaged me saying, "Oh, that Corey guy wasn't very nice to you." No, he wasn't meant to be very nice to me, people. But Adam,
There's a fine line, Corey. There's a fine line between character and real life. I'm telling
Don't
you.
touch his belt.
They
Don't
blur.
touch
They blur.
CJ, honestly, mate, I'll try and screenshot some of the messages I got saying, "Oh, Andy, great interview, mate, but that guy wasn't very nice." There's these people, some people, you can tell the people that don't watch wrestling. I'm like, well, we asked him to be in character, and it's good, and it was really good. But Ads, coming back to you, mate, the UK scene, like I say, we were so fortunate enough to go to Ignite on Sunday, like do the backstage interviews, watch a great show. Has it surprised you? Because we've grown up with the WWF, WCW, etc. Since you and I have been starting doing the podcast, and you've gone to Jurassic Pro. That's my second Ignite show. I went to an Apex TV taping last night. The UK, it's opened my eyes like you wouldn't believe. I literally, even this weekend, I'm looking to try and go to a showdown in Hemel Hempstead just to catch some more local independent UK wrestling. Has it surprised you that the way these promotions put on these great shows? Because Ignite on Sunday was what I call a proper wrestling show. There was kids from the young kids that I was sitting next to, from the ages of 4 till about 8 years old. They absolutely loved it. Then you had, growing adults that have grown up with wrestling, just there and enjoying a great family run show.
Yeah, I think it's always important, the demographic. I mean, I know WWE and all that go on about they're interested in the 18 to 49 demographic or something like that, and I think it's always important you've got to remember there's a demographic below that, and there's a demographic above it. And the demographic below it are going to be the ones that make the future for the shows, because they're the ones that are going to be sitting. Those kids that are sitting there at the age of 6 could still be sitting there at the age of 18.
Them kids were us once.
Well, they were us. Yeah, we were there. We're not necessarily there, but we were there. In terms of the quality, I've never been surprised by the quality because it's always been outstanding. I mean, even like I used to go to 1PW a lot before it finished for a while, and then they used to, it was a great show. Then I mean, I was probably 20s at that point, but again, the talent doesn't surprise me. I'm just more surprised that they're untapped.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
so there was a lot of untapped great talent. There was one in particular for me. Now they all stood out in their own different way, but there's one particular on Sunday that if I read today had signed with NXT, we wouldn't have surprised a developmental company or something like that. It wouldn't have surprised me. And that was Harrison Leon.
Yeah.
He just has. I'm not a wrestling scout. I have no, I wouldn't have a clue, But when you sit there and you say someone's got it, and whatever it is. He has 6'6", lean as hell, great athlete. He's one of those guys I'd sit there and go, why is he not signed somewhere already? Because he looks he's got everything.
He will be. The thing is with Harrison, right, is he's still very new. He's still he's very new. I think he's less than 2 years in. I actually was in the ring with him for his very first performance in the ring for UBW. So and that wasn't that long ago. That was like last year sometime. So I think it was very, very start of 2022. But yeah, he has got everything. He's got stuff that you just can't teach. That's the thing. So once all that other stuff comes along, there's the world is oyster. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, he's got the height, he's got the look, he's got the natural charisma that you just can't really teach. And yeah.
Nino, one of the guys, one of the matches, Nino was one of the matches that I wanted to talk about, CJ. Nino versus Taylor James, I thought was incredible. Adam's talking about untapped talent in the UK. I mean, like you say, we could go down the whole card from Sunday. I mean, we will break it down and talk about all the matches. But for me, Nino, Taylor James on Sunday, again, how good is it to see these guys put on that kind of match? And I don't mean this disrespectfully. They could literally, if that was on an NXT or a WWE taped match for, a tryout thing, that would have been, it would be, I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. I would have gone, yeah, that's the kind of caliber that I expect to watch. I've watched like AEW Dark and all them kind of things. What these guys put on Sunday at Ignite was some of the best in-ring work I've seen. Me and Adam and you, obviously, CJ, we're great. When the kids are there, they're screaming and they're getting into the match, which is brilliant. And I love all that. But we're watching the wrestling match. We're watching how they do things. And, the little time that I've spent with a few of these guys and yourself, you're kind of getting like how they prep for a match. what Nino and Taylor James done on Sunday, mate, I thought was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they are two of the flagship talents for Ignite. They're two that we built the promotion around from day one. So their first match was on our first show. They wrestled on our first show. That's where that story started. That was October 21. And I just, I've known Taylor for a little while. I wrestled him a few times. I've, mostly was in tag stuff, but I was like, there's something there in this guy that he could definitely branch out of the tag as well. The Rebellion are one of the best tags in the country for me, but there's just something about Taylor who's got something, like we were saying about Harrison, there's something about him. And Nino kind of has that as well. And he's a hometown boy. He's 5 minutes from the venue. He's literally 5 minutes from the venue. Because I used to run Pro Wrestling Clash as well. And that started in 2018. So I've actually been doing shows there for 5 years now. And Nino was coming down to help out on those shows. He was helping set the ring up and doing all the stuff. And he was, he was. I don't know if he was even 16 then. And I just knew that, he was training in loads of places. He got his head screwed on. He was training with the right people. And as soon as he started doing matches, he just had it. So those two. Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm not that surprised that they did so well, because that is exactly why we've built the promotion around. They're two of the people, along with like Corey as well. We're building the promotion around those guys.
Yeah, I mean, recently I know you tweeted out two of the guys that have wrestled for Ignite just got drafted to SmackDown.
That was Clash.
Clash, sorry, yeah. That
Yeah.
You've seen these guys grow up. So the potential for like any young upcoming wrestler in the UK, it is there. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh well, WWE and UK's gone," and there's such a pathway now, don't you think? Because of the way that the UK wrestling scene is. I was at Apex last night. They put on one match just for a TV thing they're doing, and the quality was just, I brought a friend who brought his son. He's not really into wrestling. He was like, my God, this is incredible. This is like really good. It's like an art form. He's not into his wrestling, but he appreciated the work these two guys put in. And I felt that when I was watching Ignite on Sunday, like all the guys, you look at the Corey and Xander in the main event, I'm thinking that could have main evented Progress or anything. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful to be sitting in the arena in Bournemouth thinking, I'm lucky I'm not one of 140 people that are getting to watch this match.
Yeah, I mean, Xander's someone who just, he blew me away in that match, to be honest. Obviously, everyone on that show I'm a big fan of, or they wouldn't be on that show. But Xander, he wasn't scheduled to be in that main event. He got put in it with about 24 hours notice, and in his slotted, and those two smashed it, absolutely smashed it, tore the house down. Another guy, another untapped talent. There was, I'd say there were probably 3 matches on that card on Sunday that would have easily slotted into any promotion in the country. I mean, they were all great, but like I'm looking at Taylor and Nino. I'm looking at Corey and Xander in that main event, and also Mark True and Kieran Lacey. Like they opened the show up. That was all. They're another two amazing talents. And I don't think it will be long before all these people we're talking about are the next people to be, called up, eventually signed up at some point. Because obviously when I was running Pro Wrestling Clash, we had Sam Stoker in there. He was our champion. And obviously now he's just gone up to SmackDown in his tag team, and we had them both. We had Lewis on there as well, Lewis Howley, and they worked for Clash, the tag team. Now they're going to be on SmackDown. It's there is possibility. Obviously, Cara Noir was our champion at Pro Wrestling Clash. He was our first champion. Look at how huge he is now.
Yeah. How does it work on the UK scene, CJ? Is it like in football where their scouts go out and watch different games? I mean, how does it work at wrestling? Does someone contact you and go, CJ, can I come down to your show? I just want to watch. So I'm talking, say, like WWE, say they're always watching across the world. AEW are watching across the world. Have you had people approach you saying, oh, CJ, is it okay if I come down, if I watch it? Or do they ring you to go, hi, CJ, you've had this talent with you in the past. What are they like? I want to bring them here. You know what I mean? How does it work in the UK independence? Because like you say, these guys that I watched on Sunday, there wasn't anyone on that card in a matter of a year to 2.5 years. If some of them have gone on to and I'm seeing them on my TV on AEW, WWE, headlining a Progress show, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. But how does that work from a talent scout perspective in the independent scene?
Yeah, just that there aren't scouts really. I mean, I'm sure not at this level. You
Right.
know, saying obviously WWE will have scouts. They'll go out around the world. I'm sure, and they might pop up at a UK show somewhere, but no one's ever contacted me. But there aren't scouts necessarily for promotions in this country. What you find is promoters like myself and other promoters will go and watch other shows,
Mm.
or they're involved, or they've been involved in wrestling for a number of years themselves, and they might have wrestled some of these people, or they know them well. But and it's quite often it's word of mouth, or you just go to like you said, you just go to a show yourself and you see these people. I mean, I've been involved in wrestling since I was 14. I've been wrestling on shows since I was in my early 20s. I'm 36 now, so I know a lot of these people. I've wrestled them myself, seen them loads of times, and so yeah, that's just kind of how it works. There's no official system like there is in football where people go out and like scout people, and it doesn't really work like that. The promoters are their own scouts, is what I'm
I
saying.
gotcha. Yeah, I've got you. Adam, what do you think the ceiling is for UK wrestling? Like you say, we've been fortunate enough to watch a few shows now. It's the big guys that get the big TV deals, WWE. And I was chatting to CJ the other day. There's a few, and Chris, good mate of ours, he does the photography for Apex. He said there's some UK wrestling now to be found on a few Sky channels, and Apex are doing something for like a local Milton Keynes channel that's going to be broadcast on Sky. I mean, what is the ceiling for UK people like Ignite and stuff like this? What is the ceiling for them moving forward, would you say?
I don't think there is one. I think it's just really up. You're seeing it now, as you say. You see British wrestling on the TV. I don't think we'll get to that stage, and unfortunately, I don't think we'll get to that stage where there is like a promotion like an AEW or something like that. And I don't think we need it. I don't know.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I personally love the fact that I could go an hour down the road to Boreham Wood, watch Ignite. I could go an hour the other way, watch Jurassic. I could go 2 hours a bit further and watch an Apex or another show. And I think the more what I don't would want was like have one promotion, because then it kind of stops the whole
Growth, yeah.
for me. And to have as many promotions, you got Preston City Wrestling, 1PW, Progress. We mentioned them all, and I think in a way probably it helped that the UK NXT kind of went in a way, just because there was a lot of talk, oh, it's going to kill the business. I don't think it did, but they did push a lot of talent through, and they probably benefited from great trainers. But I like the fact that, as I said, we can travel to anywhere in the country if we wanted to and go and see some really good wrestling with some great untapped talent. And then in the future, when our kids are growing up and they're watching, and this guy, we're like, yeah, we saw him when he was coming in. To have that. So I don't think there's a ceiling, but I don't want them to try to become that sort of.
Yeah, they've tried that a few times, haven't they? I mean, CJ, you'll know this, and obviously Adam, I know you will as well. I mean, I think something was on ITV for a little while. They had they had like a UK wrestling promotion. It was on like a Saturday night prime time. So CJ, it's not like they haven't tried to put it on prime time, but do you think we're so stagnated because WWF is so ingrained in wrestling fans' DNA? Not just in the UK, but all over Europe and across the world, that when they have tried to try things like this with the ITV, with, the odd Sky channel that have got a UK promotion, it hasn't quite worked. And I'm with Adam. I don't want to see it because I love, I've got the Ignite bug, mate. I will be honest with you. I'm never missing a show that you guys do. I will be there every single show as long as I'm in the country and not watching that stupid American football team that I watch. Yeah, but I will be at every single show that you guys do. I've got the bug. I love it. I'm always looking out for when you guys tweet. But do you think that is what is the reason why it has kind of failed? And like when the ITVs have tried it, it just hasn't quite worked.
I think the World of Sport thing was slightly different to some of the others. I think there's varying reasons why it hasn't worked. Personally, World of Sport, I think it was trying to be something that fans didn't want. That was the problem. Like, wrestling fans in this country like the Progress style, like the Rev Pro style, like the TNT style, and they decided to go, and I guess it was because ITV got their hands on it and they probably helped produce it, but they went for it was like a Saturday night entertainment show with wrestling.
Yeah.
It was completely produced. They had fake crowd shots, fake crowd noise pumped in. You could tell the matches
sounds like SmackDown.
but it wasn't authentic. It wasn't authentic, and wrestling fans want authentic. And then the other promotions that have tried it, like Five Star tried it, Rev Pro tried it for a bit on Sky. Like, I don't know. I think it's difficult because there is so much great content out there for wrestling fans to see in terms of television streaming. You know, you've got the WWE Network, you've got AEW. You can go on to YouTube and find hours and hours and hours of like high quality, amazing British wrestling for free. Progress have got their on demand. Rev Pro have got their on demand. There's so much for them to see at the tip of their fingers anyway, that it's a real crowded market for a UK promotion to come in and put themselves on TV and for people to carve that time out. Do you know what I mean? It's going to have to be something real special, and it's not going to be a World of Sport that came across like an episode of the Gladiators with some wrestlers on it. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I'm with Adam. I like the fact that we can travel 45 minutes, an hour down the road and watch Ignite. I've got Apex on my doorstep in Milton Keynes. I can 10 minutes, I'm there. There's so many good, and I'm doing this podcast. It's opened my eyes to all the UK promotions that are out there, you know. And I've been, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to speak people like Smashing Mike. He's on a few different. He's been at Apex. He's
everywhere.
He's I can't. Mike he's literally just pimped himself out to the whole of the UK wrestling world. But I love people like Smashing Mike. I think he's again a tremendous untapped talent. Corey, unbelievable talent. When you're just sitting there and you're like, you feel a little bit privileged really, because you're watching these guys, and then all everyone ever talks about is the W. And look, I'm a huge WWE fan. I'm a big AEW fan. I'm not going to say that me and Adam aren't going to sit here and we do podcasts about SmackDown and Raw, and I love all that. But when you're actually Smashing Mike literally fell in my lap on Sunday out of the ring. That's how close I was. I've got it on film. I'm like, evening, Mike, and he's literally right in front of me. So many people have watched that clip and said, for me, that's what wrestling is. And I took my daughter to her first show last night. It was one match at Apex. She wanted to try it. She's hooked. She absolutely loved it. She wants to go again. She's coming to Buckle Up, which we're going to get onto. She's coming to that with me in July. So if you can get these kids, you know, if people say that the UK won't ever grow wrestling, but it's like anything. If you get them involved at a young age and they stick with it, me and Adam grew up with the WWE. CJ, you grew up with it, but then you got into the promotion and the movement that is UK wrestling. If these kids, like I saw at Ignite on Sunday, if they grow up with Ignite, it's all they're going to know, really. They might watch WWE on TV, but they come over here twice a year. Ignite are putting on shows every 2 months.
That's the dream, man. That's what you want. You want that loyal fan base. You want people to come in at a young age, love it, enjoy it, put on a great show for them, and you want them to come back every time. And yeah, you want them obviously to love all wrestling, but you almost want them to like not know anything but Ignite. And I see that with other promotions as well. They become fans of that promotion as opposed to, do you know what I mean? And that's what you want. But like, I don't know where people get this, and it's obviously not everyone, and you two clearly don't believe this, but I don't know where people get this misconception that British wrestling is not thriving at the moment, or it's not huge at the moment, or it's somehow it's an absolute load of BS. I don't know what people are talking about. Like, I've been around British wrestling since the early 2000s, and trust me, I've seen some empty halls. I have seen it not doing very well. When I first started doing shows in 2010, this was pre-Progress. Progress started in 2012. It was a different era, I can promise you. You can ask any of the wrestlers who were wrestling around that time. You know, if you've got 50 people sometimes in a hall, you were happy that was a good draw. Do you know what I mean? And like, now there are multiple promotions doing 100, 200 every weekend, and then there's several that are getting up to close to 1,000. Like, you know, and then people like Progress are selling out regularly at 1,000 people. You've got, I mean, how many people did they just get in the Doncaster Dome for one PW?
Yeah.
Oh, loads.
What was that? 4,000? 4,000?
Yeah, I think it was just over 4,000 people.
I remember when in 2002 when FWA did Revival at Crystal Palace, right? And they did 2,000 people there, and it was like meant to be the biggest British, you know, show that had ever happened since the World of Sport era. It was like heralded as like this huge, gigantic, massive thing. And yeah, 2,000 people was amazing. I'm not saying it's not. But then 1PW just rocked up with 4,000 people recently, and no one batted an eyelid, because that's how successful and huge it is at the moment, that you can sell 4,000 tickets and people don't even think it's that big a deal. Like, it's huge. I don't know what planet people are on where they don't think it's like thriving. I don't know if it's ever been bigger or better. And I don't know if there's ever been more people that have been willing to come out and watch wrestling in this country.
Yeah, most definitely. Talking of big shows, talking of selling tickets, Sunday, the 23rd of July.
That's it. That's the one.
Buckle up. Myself, Adam, CJ, the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, Ignite Wrestling have come together to put on one almighty show. CJ, you announced the main event yesterday. It is Connor Mills versus Corey McRae versus Smashing Mike. I mean, have never seen Connor wrestle myself, mate.
Oh man, you're missing out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I've jumped on YouTube and watched a few things here and there. I mean, how excited are you for Buckle Up? I mean, we are advertising this to the hill. I spoke to Corey on Sunday backstage. He said he is super pumped for this card. Your own champion is saying that. His own words. He was like, look, guys, he says, I genuinely mean this. I cannot wait for this show. Smashing Mike has been on all over social media yesterday, today. He can't wait for this show. CJ, tell us and everyone that's listening how good Buckle Up is set to be on Sunday, the 23rd of July.
Right, this is I'm not even, I'm not joking around. This is going to be huge. This is going to be huge. It's huge for me. It's huge for Ignite, and I can't thank you two guys enough for coming on board and doing this together. All three of us putting this show on because it's going to take Ignite to like a whole new level. Like I know we're talking about the great talent that we've had on previous shows. There's always been a little bit of a ceiling for Ignite just because you're a one-man band like myself. You do have some limitations, but with this, the limitations are gone, the reins are off, we're going all in, and we're bringing in some incredible talent. So I know we've announced Connor Mills was the first of, we've got 3 big debuts on this show coming up. Connor Mills is the first of 3. I won't give anything away for the other 2, but they'll be coming soon. But yeah, to have Connor Mills on this card for me is a big deal. I know you say you haven't seen him personally, Andy, but you've got to go. I know you said you've watched a bit of it.
I went and watched. I was like, geez, when I get to see this guy live.
I used to book him for Pro Wrestling Clash before he kind of blew up and become as big as he is now. I've known him for a little while. He started out as a tag team with Mayhew, actually. I don't know, it used to be called Eminem. He used to come out to Eminem and Mills and Mayhew, and they were just incredible. He actually wrestled our champion for Clash in one of the shows we did in Milton Keynes. We did a show in MK11 actually when I was running Clash, and it was Connor Mills against Rocky Mack for the Pro Wrestling Clash Championship. And like from that day on, I was just completely sold on the man. Like it was one of the best matches I've ever booked. One of the best matches I've ever seen live still to this day.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm super pumped.
He's gone on to huge things. He's a massive Rev Pro star now. Do you know what I mean? He's doing big things. So he kind of went out of our scope a little bit.
Gotcha.
But now, with you guys on board, we've been able to bring him in. He's coming back to 96 Shenley Road for the first time since 2019. And he had to go into the main event. A guy of that caliber, he doesn't come into Ignite and not want a title shot, right? So he's coming in. He's getting a title shot straight off the bat. But obviously, as you saw on Sunday, Smashing Mike also wants a title shot. He's undefeated in singles competition at Ignite. He deserves his shot as well. So there we go. You got the freeway, you got the huge main event.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, it just goes to prove, like you say, I've gone on and watched a little bit of what Connor's done today. Obviously, CJ is super pumped to have him back. How excited are you for Buckle Up, my friend? It's huge for us. We just started this podcast. We just wanted to bring. We started off with just wanting. We talk wrestling, we talk WWE, we talk AEW. This podcast alone has this is gonna be good. I'll just see what I've done here. This has ignited my my love for UK wrestling.
Yeah.
It's that's awesome. I can't believe I've done that. But it has ignited my love for the UK wrestling. Like I said to CJ, I genuinely mean this. I'm hooked on every Ignite show that they do. But how big is Buckle Up for us, Adam, to be partnering with CJ, to be putting on this show? And we, like you say, CJ hasn't even announced the whole card yet. There's 3 more people that's going to be making their Ignite debut on this show. How excited are you for Buckle Up on Sunday, the 23rd of July?
Yeah, I think I use the term quite a lot, and I tweeted the words today when we announced one of our guests. Was all about humbled, privileged, and proud. And those are 3 words that I use for this. I mean, I've only been doing this podcast with you 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, I think we've been doing it about
6 months. I was on before once after Clash of the Castle, and then come back on permanently January. But to be able to, if you told me last year, you're going to be you're going to be co-producing a wrestling show next year, I would have told you to.
I think I've tweeted out loads. My life right now is batshit crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, it's using those three words: humbled, privileged, and proud, and that's what I am for doing this to be able to work with the great team at Ignite. It was my first Ignite show on Sunday, and I spoke to CJ privately afterwards that if that's anything to go by, then we're in for a hell of a show on our Buckle Up, and I just want to get there now.
I just want July. I just want July to get it. I mean, I was just on it just to stand in a wrestling ring on Sunday. It's the first ever time I've ever done it. I hit the ropes for like a second. I thought, fuck that. I'm never being a wrestler up that.
It's the first time I've hit the rope since I took a body slam at drop kicks. And
it was for me. You know what I mean? But it's little things like that these UK promotions do. My daughter got to stand in a wrestling ring at Apex last night. I took a few photos of her. She loved it. That for me is what the UK wrestling scene gives that the bigger promotions might not. When you're seeing kids taking pictures in a wrestling ring like we did at Ignite on Sunday, the looks on the little boy next to me did not stop asking me questions for the whole show. And some of the things that he was shouting to the wrestlers, I think his dad follows CJ. I think he commented on one of the Facebook posts. I hope he's listening to this. His kids were a testament to him. Some of the things they were shouting out were incredible. So when we get to do things like this and we get to see these kids just, can I stand in the wrestling ring, Dad? Yeah. Can I meet them afterwards, Dad? Yes. In the interval, can I go and yes. You don't get to do that. It'll probably cost you £100, whatever it is, to go and do a meet and greet with the big time promotion. What Ignite? Yeah, exactly. You know, Adam, you've been to WrestleMania. You know how much these things cost. This is, to me, what UK wrestling is all about. And I'm the same as you, Adam. Privileged, humbled, and honored. Sunday, the 23rd of July, anyone that can get to Boreham Wood, you know, there's a train station literally around the corner from the venue. It's literally just off the M25. It's free parking everywhere around there on a Sunday. It is so accessible. Anyone listening to this, Sunday, the 23rd of July, Ignite will be tweeting out the link for tickets. It's on our Twitter, it's on our Facebook, it's literally everywhere. This show and the talent that CJ is booking, I promise you, is going to be incredible. Adam, I can't wait.
Bring it on. I can't wait. I want to I want to get there now and do it. And I have a good buddy. Dave's going to be joining us. I'll have a permanent fixture.
Dave?
All right, Dave. Yeah. I call him Dynamite Dave now because he does the AEW stuff.
Dynamite Dave. Yeah, he is our AEW guru. But CJ, while you're here, mate, just from me and Adam, we can't thank you enough for Sunday. The access that you allowed us to the talent, all the talent listening to this show. We were truly humbled, just as wrestling fans, not people that do a podcast or putting on a page. I just like sitting there as a fan. I got to tweet loads. I got to, put Ignite out to the world on social media. Honestly, CJ, mate, be so proud of the product that you have got there, mate. We genuinely mean it, mate. It's truly amazing.
Thanks, man. It means a lot. It means a lot. I put a lot of time and effort into that over the years.
Yeah, honestly, mate, be very, very proud. Like we say, Sunday the 23rd of July, buckle up, get your tickets, come down. There's not many ringside seats left. Get them while you can, but the venue...
Seven left. Seven left.
It was 4.
But there's not many. But the venue is wherever you sit. It's honestly, you could be a few rows back, and you're literally right next to the entranceway. The wrestlers, they all interact with you. You can see them at the interval. You can see them after the show. You know what I mean? All these wrestlers are accessible. If you want a picture, they'll take one. If you want an autograph, they'll take one. You can hurl. You can say anything to them in the ring. I think there was a wedgie segment on Sunday because some little kid shouted out, "Give him a wedgie." Next thing I know, there was 3 wedgies. So honestly, come down to Buckle Up. Make sure you go and check out Ignite on all the socials. CJ, before we go, just tell the listeners where they can find Ignite. What's the socials, mate? How do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ignite Wrestling Pro on Facebook, Ignite Rest Pro on Twitter, and Ignite Wrestling Pro on Instagram. So yeah, hit us up, follow. Find us on YouTube as well, Ignite Wrestling Pro on YouTube. Subscribe. All the matches from this past Sunday will be going up there. All the matches from Buckle Up will be going up there too when they're done. Trust me, we've got some big announcements coming up for Buckle Up as well. Like these next 2 announcements for these 2 debuts are going to be huge, massive. You will not want to miss this show, I promise you.
It's going to be a great show. Well, CJ, thanks so much for jumping on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, mate. We value your friendship and we value what you're doing at Ignite. So thanks so much. Adam, I do believe you've got to go because you've got another podcast to record, mate.
I have literally got an NWA one coming up, but we just quickly we did get busy today. Not me and you personally, we not us two personally, but we did get busy in the world of guests today. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the word humbled, we talked about the word privileged, and we talked honored and proud. And I think this time next Thursday, near enough, we were just finished with Bobby Fish, but we now have the brother of the AEW star Saraya, Zach Zodiac, or Zach Knight, coming on to say hello, amongst some other things. Again, that was really privileged for him it was literally from a tweet, bang, and it was all set up. And then later on in the month, the last day of the month, we've got the guy that pissed CM Punk off during the all-out scrum. Nick Howson will be joining us, and I've got a feeling that might be on the agenda to talk about.
Yeah, I might have to. I'll definitely remember to wear this t-shirt. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go and check us out on Twitter. Like I say, Adam will be back with the NWA show later with the amazing Fiona. But CJ, thanks so much, mate. No doubt we will speak to you a million times before Buckle Up. I'm literally the second Ignite tweet anything. I'm all over it. But Adam, CJ, we'll catch up with you soon, everyone. Till next time, everybody. This has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I've been your host, Andy Burrows, with my tag team partner, Mr. Adam Cousins, and the main man himself from Ignite, Mr. CJ Carter. Till next time, everybody, buckle down and stay safe.